Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. So this weekend brings us Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor, their latest pay-per-view event. Of course, this is the first one that they've done with the full rebranding. Since Tony Khan took over, he purchased the company right before their previous pay-per-view. And this is the first one that's sort of fully rebranded. It's got that new sort of the white and red and black logo, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions as it pertains to Ring of Honor. I'm sure this weekend we'll find out maybe some of those answers, but I thought we'd address some of those questions today so that we know what to look for going into this weekend's pay-per-view. Let's kick it off with number one, just who exactly is going to be in this new Ring of Honor? So it was kind of surprising that Claudio Castagnoli is the guy who is facing Jonathan Gresham for the world title at Death Before Dishonor. And the reason why I think it's kind of surprising is because I'm pretty sure Claudio cost Tony Khan a pretty penny to bring him into AEW. So it's like, okay, well, if Ring of Honor is going to be sort of a smaller pared down affair, why would you have such a big name there in the main event? And by the way, I'm pretty sure Claudio is going to end up winning that title. On the same hand, you also have Samoa Joe, who came in and pretty much immediately took the television title. And you've got Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb, of course, being a veteran of AEW, also sort of headlining in the women's division. But there's a lot that's sort of unanswered in terms of the rest of the roster. If you look at Ring of Honor's current roster page, it's just chock full of a bunch of random people that were with Ring of Honor before. They haven't really updated it. For example, PCO, who's seemingly with Impact right now, and the rest of Honor No More with Impact, are all still on Ring of Honor's roster page. Does that mean there's the possibility they could be brought back? I'm sure that's possible. I don't know what the Impact status is in terms of their contracts for Honor No More. They're knee deep in stories over there in Impact, but Impact and Ring of Honor and AEW have always had a pretty good working relationship. So it's sort of up in the air in terms of who's actually part of the Ring of Honor roster. For example, the tag division right now in Ring of Honor seems to have all of three teams. It's got FTR, the current champions, the Briscoes, and it's got Gates of Agony. After that, there aren't a lot of tag teams that are sort of confirmed to be in Ring of Honor. So will it be like a talent trade type situation, or kind of what we see with NXT and WWE now, where you'll have people from main roster go down to NXT and then come back up after a short program? Will people like Bear Country end up in Ring of Honor, sort of graduating up from Dark and Elevation? There's a lot left unanswered with the roster, and that's sort of one of them. The tag division seems to be pretty not formed right now. In the men's division, you've got Gresham, Claudio, Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, maybe Satnam Singh, Wheeler Yuta. I know Wheeler Yuta defended his pure title against Tony Nese. Does that mean Tony Nese is going to be part of the Ring of Honor roster, which, by the way, would actually be probably a really good move? Daniel Garcia is fighting for the pure title at Death Before Dishonor. Does that mean Daniel Garcia is going to be part of the Ring of Honor roster as well? Is it going to be a fluid situation, or is there going to be an actual solid roster there once they get their weekly television, assuming that's what they're going to go after? Or should I say weekly streaming, whatever it's going to be. Are they going to have separate split rosters that really don't interact with AEW all that much? In the women's division, we've got Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb. Those are the two top names in the women's division. But Mercedes Martinez had 4 AEW tapings in a row a couple months back where she was defending the Ring of Honor title against various people that have been regularly featured on Dark and Elevation. Among them, Trish Adora, who was with Ring of Honor prior to Ring of Honor getting bought out by AEW. So Willow Nightingale also seems likely to go to Ring of Honor. But again, a lot of unanswered questions with regards to the Ring of Honor roster. Who's actually going to be on it? Who's not going to be on it? My guess, they don't know yet until they actually get a streaming deal. Let's move on. Is this AEW's NXT? So looking at the Death Before Dishonor card, one thing sort of stands out. There's only 5 matches. That's opposed to the, 20 some odd matches usually on AEW pay-per-view. Now, this is a different situation. It's not an AEW pay-per-view. It's cheaper. It's $40. But if there's one thing this reminds me of, it's a difference between main roster WWE pay-per-views and the old school takeovers. There was a period of time during what arguably people would call NXT's peak when they would generally have around 4, maybe 5 or 6 matches per card. They were 2.5 hour long pay-per-views, maybe sometimes 3 hours, and they would focus on lengthy, really good matches. That was the point of those takeovers. They were supposed to generate the most buzz possible and appeal to the people who pay attention to, like, for example, Dave Meltzer's star ratings. And in fact, they actually generated a lot of 5-star matches under Dave Meltzer's own star rating system. That being said, when I look at this, I sort of think that. I know when AEW, it was first announced that Tony Khan had purchased Ring of Honor, I had sort of speculated that perhaps this was going to end up being their NXT. But I'm talking about NXT from like 2018, 2019, when it was really considered an actual third brand. The top names of that NXT could totally compete with the top names of WWE's main roster. Look at Survivor Series 2019. That's not saying that NXT would be a step down for WWE in the same way that Ring of Honor wouldn't necessarily be a step down for AEW. It'd be where the prestige wrestling happens. I'm not talking about Prestige Wrestling, the company, although they're pretty terrific. You should check them out. I'm talking about, oh man, this is where all the buzzworthy matches happens. The thing about that is AEW main roster kind of already has that, but maybe this will be sort of its own separate, different thing, more akin to those takeovers where it has its own style of pure professional wrestling. That's sort of my guess. Like I said, the pay-per-view is only $40. It's probably going to be a shorter card than usual AEW pay-per-views, unless Tony Khan decides this week to just add 6 more matches to the card. That's always a possibility because he could totally do that. But yeah, this kind of makes me wonder if this is going to be AEW's NXT 1.0, the old black and gold brand, but it's going to be black and red instead. I think that's a distinct possibility, but again, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to their weekly TV. Which brings up this question. Where are they going to do stuff? So obviously they can't always be building their pay-per-views, which look to probably be quarterly at this point, I would think. Probably the same as AEW pay-per-views are quarterly. But I don't know if they can simply build each pay-per-view within a matter of weeks and sort of limp along with their own little programs within AEW programming. I just don't know that's something Tony Khan would want to do. Something tells me this pay-per-view has a lot riding on it. I think that's why he's making Claudio Castagnoli the Ring of Honor champion. I totally think that's going to happen, by the way. Because he can feature big former WWE names in the roles of Ring of Honor champions. And that would be an appealing thing to stuff like HBO Max, Netflix, I guess maybe Bleacher Report Live, but I don't know how many people would watch it there. It's kind of not the best streaming service if AEW pay-per-view performances are to be believed. And when I say performance, I mean people just trying to buy it when the pay-per-view starts. So, yeah, where are they going to do stuff? I don't know if it'd be entirely profitable to do it on YouTube, because that would make a lot of sense. But, yeah, I get the feeling that this Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, if it sells really, really well, it's going to make a really, really good case for an HBO Max, which is owned by Time Warner, which is, wait, no, it's not Time Warner anymore. Warner Media, whatever it's called. Warner Discover Media, is that what it is? Whatever it is. I get the feeling this pay-per-view is really important to Tony Khan. I think he wants to sell weekly television someplace. And again, probably do it like OG NXT, where you get an hour per week and quarterly pay-per-views. That's all you need for a wrestling show, by the way. An hour a week and quarterly pay-per-views. Honestly, I wish more people would do that. Let's get to this last question here. And it's this. Is this too much for Tony Khan? He's already booking all of AEW. He's also said flat out that he's going to be booking Ring of Honor. And it's one thing to book Ring of Honor while they're within the confines of Dynamite and Rampage. It's a whole other thing to develop a whole new roster with all their own storylines on their own TV and their own pay-per-views at the same time as booking AEW Dynamite, Rampage, Dark, and Elevation. That's a lot for one person to do. I still am working under the theory that Cody Rhodes was a big help to Tony Khan during the formative years of AEW, and I kind of feel like he was his help with a lot of things. That's pure speculation on my part. Perhaps I'm completely wrong, but I get the feeling that's the case. In any event, Tony Khan doesn't have Cody Rhodes around anymore, so is he actually going to trust somebody else with running Ring of Honor's creative? Maybe Tony Khan would outline the broad strokes and somebody else would implement that stuff. And maybe that's what he does now. But you got to ask yourself, is he going to be spreading himself too thin once Ring of Honor becomes its own actual weekly thing, which has to be the end goal here for Tony Khan, you would think. And if that is the case, if he does spin it off to somebody else, who is that other person going to be? Who's going to be in charge of AEW's NXT? Who's going to be Tony Khan's Triple H, Those are all really cool questions, and I'm eager to find out. In any event, I'm going to be watching Death Before Dishonor live at twitch.tv/MFSteve here. Hopefully you'll join me. I think the Enforcer's going to be with me, and we're going to be watching that live. So come check it out. It's only a $40 pay-per-view, and even if you're not going to watch it, you can follow along with us, and we'll do channel bets and stuff like that. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Check out this other video right here. It's the last Q&A video I did. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you over at that video over there. No dog today, just a bunch of equipment. Like I had to get it out because Enforcer was here this weekend.